Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and latest transfer news show. We're going to be discussing all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news going on right now. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know the names we've been linked to are De Jong, Timber, Nunez, more recently Eriksen as well. But the name we're really being linked to, the name that everyone is probably fed up of hearing by now, is Frenkie de Jong. Oh my god, I am de Jonged out about transfer news and stuff. But some very positive updates have come out in the last 24 hours. I did a big show on De Jong, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, which was Friday, I think. Honestly, I'm absolutely exhausted. Maybe it's the fact that I'm talking about De Jong every single day that's absolutely knackered me up. But lots and lots to talk about. I want to get into the news. I want to get to Ten Hag's fans reports. Ten Hag wants 6 signings. Who could those 6 signings be? Obviously, there's a bit of story on Nunez to Liverpool, Nunez to United. What's going on with Nunez and Timber? What exactly is going on with Eriksen? Because we've also got to remember, Eriksen has a very good relationship with Ten Hag. Ten Hag actually helped train Eriksen back up, get him back to full fitness, and he got to move to Brentford. He's a free agent. We've lost Mata. What's going on with Eriksen and all of that? So smash your like, smash your subscribe, share the video, and let's get right into the news and all of that. Big up everybody in the chat. Hello to Gaz. Hello everybody watching in the chat. Dan said Eriksen would be a good signing. I agree. It's a free. You've got nothing to lose. I think it's a logical signing. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't get Eriksen, but I think if we get Eriksen, I'm not going to complain as well. Guys, it looks like training will start on the 27th of June without any new signings. Moyes vibes anyone? Honestly, I don't think that's the case. I don't think you guys need to worry. I think we could have 3 signings by the 27th of June, and maybe I'm weirdly positive, but I'll tell you why now. United are going to get their first few deals done in the next couple of weeks. I'm confident of that. United in the past worked at one deal at a time, one deal at a time, one deal at a time. That's why, remember that summer we signed Dan James, wait 6 weeks, sign Wan-Bissaka, wait 6 weeks, sign Maguire. Yeah. Following summer side, Donny did fuck all within panicked in the last week of the transfer window. Okay. United only did one deal at a time. Even last summer, it was, what was it? It was Sancho, then a month later Varane, then a month later Ronaldo, who we weren't actually going to get. It was a bit of a panic buy. United in the past have one deal at a time. It's been said by Romano, a very reliable journalist, that United are working on multiple deals at once. United are trying to be very secretive about their transfer strategy and let the journalists know less. But the United are working on multiple deals. We've had talks of 4 or 5 players now. So I wouldn't be worried. I don't think we're going to be sitting here in a month's time not signing anyone. Timber is in our hands. I tell you this now. During Timber, it's in our hands. You know, that Dutch, I'm only going to come if I get game time, is him making sure he gets game time and just playing with United so we can give him reassurances over game time. If we fuck up Timber, it's because we're not paying the money or we've not promised him game time. And how can we not promise him game time? Because he's Erik Ten Hag's first choice centre-back signing. Erik Ten Hag's not going to sign a centre-back that he's not going to play. He's Erik Ten Hag's first choice. You know, if you're going for Carlo, who's not Erik Ten Hag's first choice, maybe we can't guarantee him game time, but we can with Timber. So United better not bottle that. Darwin Nunez, I'm not a big fan of them. Again, he's bound for the Premier League. I think he'll come to United or Newcastle or someone like that. I'm not that fussed to be getting, but again, we're working on that. But obviously, the main deal we're working on is Frenkie de Jong. And United are working on multiple deals, but they're putting all their money, time, and effort right now into Frenkie de Jong because it's a deal that's very, very possible, a deal that's very, very likely. With lots of very positive updates. Matic has gone today. I think he's due to go to Roma. And congrats to Wales on getting through to the World Cup. Big up all the Welsh fans. I do like the Welsh. Don't like Scotland, but I like Wales. Does anyone else feel like that? As an English fan, it's like, Scotland. But, yay, Wales. I don't know why. But let's get into the news and all of that. So, if you guys aren't aware, it's coming out more and more that Frenkie de Jong wants to leave Barcelona. Now, we obviously knew the situation 2 weeks ago. The situation was Ten Hag's desperate for de Jong. United want de Jong. De Jong wants to stay, and Barcelona were trying to see if they could do things to make him stay. Bish, bash, bosh. We know that was the situation with de Jong. Then it came out that basically Barcelona's financial issues. It's going to be hard to keep de Jong. They want to get Lewandowski, Bernardo Silva, Rafinha. They want to register Kessie. They want to register Christensen. To do that, they're going to have to sell players. Like, yes, they've sold a bit of their financial issues, but they're going to have to sell some players. And de Jong is one of their highest assets, easiest players to sell. It also came out from a pretty reliable journalist a couple of days ago, basically saying that Xavi had spoken with Frenkie de Jong and explained that his departure would be conditioned by the economic situation and explained the board was not particularly happy with his performances. And Xavi reportedly a few days ago told de Jong he has to leave. Now, it's come out in the last few days that de Jong now wants to leave Barcelona. De Jong's realised, he's come to the realisation that he's not wanted at Barcelona. He now is more than happy to leave Barcelona. If you go back to de Jong, he had a brilliant game for the Netherlands against Belgium the other day. In the interview, he said, yeah, the way I play with the Netherlands benefits me a lot more than Barcelona. It's more suited to my style. Why would he say that if this wasn't true? The fact that Barcelona and Xavi had spoke to De Jong and said he's got to go and that some of his performances haven't been good enough, why would does that not correlate to 2 days later him then saying after the Netherlands game, the Netherlands, it suits my style of play more, than Barcelona. I like it more than Barcelona. He would not have said that if what was reported the other day was not true. He's basically hinted very strongly, United, come fucking get me. Or you're not United, or someone come get me. Everyone knows Frenkie de Jong has to leave Barcelona. They have to sell him. They've told Xavi and Barcelona have told De Jong he's got to go. De Jong now wants to leave Barcelona because he's been told he's not wanted. De Jong loves Barcelona. It's his childhood club. He never wanted to leave Barcelona. But like any player, if your club tells you they don't want you, then you're like, okay, you know what? I've got to leave that. I've got to leave Barcelona. I've been told I'm not wanted. And who wants Frenkie de Jong? Ten Hag. Ten Hag wants De Jong. But also, what would Frenkie de Jong be guaranteed if he comes to United? Game time, best league in the world, and he'll be playing a style of football that we know suits Frenkie de Jong, similar to the Dutch football. So Ten Hag's had multiple phone calls with Frenkie de Jong. He now wants to leave Barcelona because he's come to the realization that he's not wanted. He knows he'll be wanted at Manchester United. The only thing we can't offer him right now is Champions League football. But it's not like he's coming on a year loan. He's coming for a long-term project, and the long-term project is be back in the Champions League. In fact, the long-term project is win trophies and all of that as well. De Jong will be better off at United where he's wanted, says Nick, exactly. And I don't know about strongly if the board and Gaffer changes their stance, he would stay at Barca an instant. Potentially, yes, but I don't think they'll be able to as well. One positive Eriksen is he'll be gracious about being there and playing beyond. Yeah, exactly. He'll actually want to be there. He won't. I think a lot of players that have signed for United in the past are acting like, oh yeah, United owe me stuff. Yeah, but Eriksen's just grateful to play football. And Barca's Frenkie de Jong's dream club, and he's not going to stick around with the board and Gaffer pushing him out. And Andrew said that spot on. And I've said this about de Jong 100 times. If you watch the channel, I always tell you this about Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United. Okay, we hear reports that are, completely regurgitated by journalists, constant reports of the same journalists spitting the same words. And it's annoying. But what we do know is Ten Hag and Frenkie de Jong have phone calls. We know that Frenkie de Jong is Man United's #1 target. We know Ten Hag and Frenkie de Jong have had multiple phone calls. We know that. And also, we do know with Ten Hag and Frenkie de Jong's phone calls that if Frenkie de Jong had told Ten Hag he wasn't interested in coming, we wouldn't be pursuing him. I've said this a million times. Ten Hag isn't the type of manager to muck about. Ten Hag isn't the type of manager to be wasting his time on a player that doesn't want to come. One of the first things that was reported about Ten Hag when he joined Man United is that he's a no-nonsense manager. If any of the players at United are not willing to listen to his instructions, if any of the players at United are not actually particularly interested in playing under Ten Hag, then he wants them gone. It doesn't matter who they are. Ten Hag's very much like, I want you gone if you're not interested. If you don't want to be part of the rebuild, I want you gone. Ten Hag has big plans for United. And one of his biggest plans is to sort out the dressing room, the mentality and the overall club. He wants players at the club that want to be there, part of the project, are going to be happy at United. And, if Ten Hag thought that Frenkie de Jong would only come for the money, or Ten Hag thought that Frenkie de Jong never wants to come, Ten Hag wouldn't be wasting his time with Frenkie de Jong. Ten Hag has a very good relationship with Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong and Ten Hag obviously know the situation at Barcelona, like we all know. And I've always said this, Ten Hag's had multiple phone calls with him. None of the journalists, not even Romano or Ornstein, know what's been said in de Jong and Ten Hag's phone calls. But using common logic, Man United have been negotiating a deal for Frenkie de Jong for 3 weeks. We've agreed a fee, or with Barcelona, we've agreed a price. We've been negotiating, we've been in talks with Barcelona for 3 weeks, and we know that's 100% happening. And we're 100%, all in for Frenkie de Jong. Laurie Whitwell's confirmed he's our #1 target. As I've said, we've had multiple phone calls in that 3-week period. And I think if in one of those phone calls, Frenkie de Jong had gone, I changed my mind, I don't want to come to United. If I am going to have to leave Barcelona, I'm going to look at PSG, I want Champions League football. We'd have stopped. United are very confident they can get Frenkie de Jong. United believe they can get Frenkie de Jong, because if we weren't going to get Frenkie de Jong, or if Frenkie de Jong had told us he wasn't going to come, we would have stopped. Now, I'm not saying we are going to get Frenkie de Jong. I'm 75% on Frenkie de Jong. I think if Barcelona change their mind and say we want to keep you, you're part of our plans, and Barcelona can solve the financial situation and save someone else, I think de Jong stays at Barcelona. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to leave Barcelona, but now he does want to leave Barcelona because he's been told he's got to leave. He only wants to leave Barcelona because he's been told he's got to leave. And I'll say this a million times, Ten Hag is pursuing De Jong and is confident we can get Frenkie de Jong. So whatever's been said in Ten Hag and Frenkie de Jong's phone call is more positive than what journalists are reporting. We can use common logic because Ten Hag's not the type of manager to be taken for granted. He's not an idiot. He's not a yes man. He's not pushed around, which is one of the reasons I'm so happy we've got Erik Ten Hag. And I think, as I've always said, the conversation with Ten Hag and De Jong is, if I have to leave Barcelona, I'll consider United. I'm guarantee you that was it. And Ten Hag's convinced him about the project, saying, look, you're not in Champions League for a year, but it's a year. Look at the long-term project. Best league in the world. You're the main man. You're the main midfielder. I want to build a team around you. Barcelona style doesn't suit you as much as my style. Bish, bash, bosh. You come to United, you're a hero. Ten Hag was probably completely selling this on De Jong. And De Jong's like, well, I have to leave my boyhood club, Barcelona. Ten Hag wants me. He's been calling me. He's been telling me about all of this. Let's accept the facts. Now De Jong wants to leave. Now United, it's all adding up. All the pieces in the puzzle are adding up. And I generally am 80% sure that De Jong will come to United. I'll be shocked if it doesn't happen. And the only reason it doesn't happen for me is if Barcelona solve their financial issues. I think he'll be at United, or I think he'll be at Barcelona in September. And you can clip that if you want, if he ends up at Man City. But I generally believe De Jong will be at United or Barcelona in the summer, depending on if Barcelona can solve their financial situation or not, which seems not to be the case. All the reliable journalists have said it's unlikely. Thank you very much for the super chat. Marry me, JK. I think you're awesome. Really do appreciate the super chat as well. Fernandinho leaving and Bernardo Silva might leave. We need to act before City go for De Jong, says Andrew. You're spot on there. And I guess if Barca didn't have financial issues, Xavi wouldn't have forced De Jong out the door. Exactly. And I always think De Jong is going to be at United or De Jong is going to be at Barcelona next season. But I've always said this, right now De Jong is being forced out the door. And I'm sorry, all the pieces of the puzzle are adding up, in my opinion. United being in intense negotiations with Barcelona, the negotiations getting more strong, the talks getting more strong. Frenkie de Jong in the last week has been listed on the market, according to a reliable source, has been told by Barcelona and Xavi that he's not wanted, got to go. And a reliable source also said that the board was not happy with his performances. What does De Jong do the next day? He then talks about how the Netherlands style suits him more, blah, blah, blah. De Jong knows about the financial situation. De Jong is put on the market. De Jong is making hints in Netherlands training. Xavi's told De Jong he's got to go. All of a sudden now De Jong wants to leave Barcelona because he's come to the realisation he's not wanted. And the United talks and negotiations with Barcelona are getting closer and closer. And people saying a deal could be striked in the next few days. You think the Timber talks have slowed down? You think the Nunez talks have slowed down? Why have they slowed down? Because maybe we're putting all our time and effort into Frenkie de Jong right now because we're possibly in the final stages for him. It was also said by many sources regarding De Jong, and GB Sands via managing Barca on Twitter did say at Manchester United they interpreted De Jong's words after the match yesterday against Belgium for the Netherlands as a sign he would leave Barcelona. Man United very confident they'll get De Jong. Reports coming out, United feel confident they can convince De Jong to come and they can get him. Again, Ten Hag's have phone calls with De Jong, and Man United would only be confident they could get De Jong if the phone calls Ten Hag and De Jong have had a positive. Man United feel positive about it. They interpret the words that he said about how the Netherlands play style suits him more than Barcelona as a sign he will leave. More reports are coming out that De Jong is now open to leaving Barcelona. He doesn't like the fact that he's not wanted and being pushed out. Fabrizio Romano said that FC Barcelona are now waiting for an official offer from Manchester United for Frenkie de Jong. So Fabrizio Romano, basically is the sound actually gone, or am I being trolled? Let me know. I feel like I'm being trolled. I hope the sound hasn't gone because I will absolutely lose it because that's what it did last time as well. Now I've lost what I think. Oh, Fabrizio Romano. Okay. What is going on with Fabrizio Romano? So Fabrizio Romano, I got distracted. I got distracted because now I'm worrying about the sound. FC Barcelona are now awaiting an official offer from Manchester United for Frenkie de Jong. Okay, bish bash bosh. Romano is like the most reliable guy out there. People call him a tapping merchant and all that these days. Fabrizio Romano has established himself as a journalist to the level where he only really needs to comment on news if he wants to. He can repeat other people's news, but at the end of the day, what you get with Fabrizio Romano is, when he says something, it's a fact. He's not saying things for clicks. He's got that attention. Romano he might say things that you call him a tapping journalist, but we know about Fabrizio Romano. One thing we know is that when he says something, it's not a lie. It's a tier one source. And, the fact that he's saying Barcelona are waiting for a bid from Man United for De Jong, the fact that Romano is saying Barcelona are literally waiting for De Jong bid from Man United, for me, it's just a good hint that it could be happening. It's just a good hint that it could be happening as well. Dembele close to joining Chelsea, says Nick. Yeah, that's a good point. I did talk about Ziyech being a troll. Okay, we can all hear me. I always do think I'd take Ziyech on it for a year or two on loan to be that right wing option because we don't have a right winger. I generally would with Dembele going to Chelsea. But going back to what I was saying, you know, the fact that Romano's confirmed Barcelona are waiting for an official offer for De Jong, it says it all. It says that, you know, United are quite advanced in this. I think the situation with Man United and De Jong is this. This is what I believe the situation is. Frenkie de Jong loves Barcelona. He absolutely loves Barcelona. He never wanted to leave Barcelona, and he's slowly accepting the fact that he's being pushed out of Barcelona. He's a little bit upset. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. Now he's realised he's not wanted. He's now like, okay, I'm more open to leaving Barcelona, suggesting that Frenkie de Jong would stay at Barcelona if they can sort out their financial situation. However, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It seems more likely that he's going to have to go. In fact, Barcelona have put Frenkie de Jong on the market. In fact, if Barcelona weren't planning on selling de Jong, they wouldn't be negotiating with Man United for multiple weeks over de Jong. I think Barcelona really made their mind up about de Jong in the beginning of May when Man United and de Jong entered talks. But I think Barcelona then decided recently, once they had that financial meeting at the beginning of June, oh my God, yeah, we've got to get rid of de Jong. De Jong goes on the market. Xavi tells de Jong he's not wanted. De Jong then obviously makes that comment after international duty. De Jong upset, doesn't want to leave Barcelona, his boyhood club, but de Jong's realised he's 80% got to leave Barcelona unless they sort out their financial situation. But the fact that Barcelona have told him they don't want him and he's not in the plans and that he's got to go, it seems that he's evident to go. Now, there will be teams interested in de Jong. One will be Manchester City, one will be PSG, and one will be Bayern Munich, and obviously one will be Manchester United. But Manchester United are the team most advanced on a deal for de Jong. In fact, Man United are the only team really working heavily on a deal for de Jong, which shows that Erik ten Hag has some positivity he can get this deal done. United have been in negotiations with Barcelona, Romano, Laurie Whitwell, all the top journalists have confirmed this. They've been advancing over the last few days since de Jong's been put on the market. The talks have been, you know, hot up between Manchester United and Barcelona. That is the situation. Right now, it's put in a bid for Barcelona, agree on a fee, and then agree personal terms with de Jong. The difficult one is agreeing personal terms with de Jong. I think United will pay the money for de Jong. In fact, we've been told United are more than willing to pay the money for de Jong. I think maybe the only reason it could be stalling is because Manchester United are like, well, they're desperate to sell him. They want 70 million. But because they're so desperate to sell him, I reckon they'll take 60 million. We're the only team really trying to get de Jong right now. They might have to accept that 60 million and maybe take it to 70 million to 60 million. I think that's probably what United is trying to do. Once Man United agree a fee with Barcelona, and I put a bid in and that's accepted, it is between United and de Jong to come to an agreement over contract and all of that. Can ten Hag convince him to come? And United have spent all this time and energy working on a deal to get de Jong. So ten Hag believes he can convince de Jong to come. And as soon as Barcelona accept a bid for him, that's de Jong knowing he's not wanted at the club he loves. And that could push de Jong's mind over to sign for United. Obviously, we're not in the Champions League. Obviously, he might prefer Bayern, City, or PSG, and you can't blame him in a weird way. But we're not in a Farmers League. He will be the main man under ten Hag. He's guaranteed game time. It will be a football that benefits him. And I think with de Jong, just keep an eye on it, see how it advances over these next few days. But I'm quite positive with Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United. We've got another super chat. Let me scroll down for that. Barca broke Messi's heart too. We'll give Frenkie a good home. Eriksen as well. Truly hate transfer season. Lol, it's so stressful. 100% I agree. 100% agree. Like, no one thought Messi was going to leave, but there was rumours of him leaving. And then it came out that Messi was going to stay, and then he left and all of that. And I think that's the same with de Jong. I think de Jong is Messi too, but obviously not the same as Messi, but you get what I mean. Only 78 likes needed for 200 likes, guys. So if you're watching right now and you've not hit that like button, please do. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football, because I do a transfer news live stream every evening on the channel. If you want to know all the latest on de Jong, Timber, Nunez, Eriksen, the ins, the outs, as soon as we buy someone, as soon as we sell someone, there'll be an update. If we put a bid in for de Jong, there will be an update. If we agree personal terms with de Jong, there'll be an update. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, please do subscribe. And you made a good point that Chelsea are unlikely to loan us Ziyech. They would probably want to sanction a proper sale. You have a good point. I would like Ziyech on loan, but well, you have a very good point there as well. I'm not sure de Jong will go to City since they got Haaland. He might not play. Look, City's midfield is thin, but I think he's not guaranteed starter. But again, he's under Pep and he's a Barcelona boy as well. Frenkie de Jong is worth waiting for. This is a month for discussions. A decision needs to be made. Exactly. Frenkie de Jong is very much worth waiting for, and I always agree on that. I'm not annoyed that we're taking along with Frenkie de Jong. He's going to be our statement signing. He's going to be our big signing. He will probably be our first signing. But United do need to hurry up and get this deal done. Now, obviously, it has to be done by July because of Barcelona's financial issues. And I generally think, honestly, by June 12th, give it a week, we'll know with de Jong. I generally think by June 12th, we will know with de Jong, okay? I also think Timber news will heat up again. I know there was reports that Timber an international break and he wants to be a guaranteed starter. I just believe that because United are focusing their energy on de Jong, they'll then get Timber. I also want to say something as well. A lot of people are worried that we're not linked to a CDM. And I've always said this, you need to sign de Jong, but you still need another midfielder. You can't stick de Jong next to McTominay and get the de Jong you want. You need to build a team around de Jong. We brought Pogba, we thought he solved the midfield, but he didn't because we didn't build a team around Pogba. De Jong is Erik ten Hag's number one priority signing, his statement signing, and he's probably the player that Ten Hag wants to build a team around, Frenkie de Jong. And we need another midfielder in that pivot. We need a partner for de Jong. We need to buy a midfielder that will partner de Jong. And maybe the reason we're not strongly linked to any CDMs is because United do not want to put time and money on a CDM until they know who that box-to-box statement Paul Pogba replacement signing is. If we buy Lamar because he complements de Jong and then we fail to get de Jong, then we need to, who do we get? I think United with the CDM situation, we know from Laurie Whitwell that Ten Hag wants two midfielders. There's Kante, there's Enzo Fernandez, there's the Ajax midfielder he's looking at. Laurie Whitwell, a tier 1 journalist, has confirmed Ten Hag wants two midfielders, a centre-back, a full-back and a striker. They're the 5 positions he wants. He wants 5 signings. Obviously, the Manchester United board, the Glazers, they're used to disappointing us. They're used to disappointing previous managers. They don't always give him the backing he wants. But, people are worried we haven't been linked with CDM, and I'm a little bit worried too. But I believe the reason United haven't been linked to a 6 yet, a match replacement is because we haven't got de Jong. I generally believe Erik ten Hag is not Ollie. We know Erik ten Hag is not Ollie, but I generally believe Erik ten Hag wants to build a team around Frenkie de Jong, and he wants to. The second midfielder will be dependent on whether we get de Jong or not. Although it looks 80% likely we'll get de Jong, maybe Ten Hag doesn't want to buy that second midfielder until he knows he's got de Jong for sure. And maybe once we get de Jong, Sangare links heat up or Lamar links heat up. I'd like to see him in full free of de Jong, Sangare, and Donny a little. But I do believe generally that I'm not worried that we haven't been linked to a second midfielder because Laurie Whitwell's confirmed Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders. Tier 1 journalists have confirmed Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders. There is options on there. And I just think because we want to get de Jong done first and then we'll look at a signing to complement him because I generally think the aim would be to build a team around Frenkie de Jong as well. I love British team in World Cup, England, Wales. Yeah, I'm happy Wales win the World Cup. England, Wales would be a good game. And how do we know Ten Hag wants to play with a CDM as opposed to a double pivot? Ten Hag will play a 4-2-3-1, most definitely. That's what he's been playing recently, a 4-2-3-1, and that's what I expect him to do. Unless you get a Declan Rice, I can't see him playing a 4-3-3. And we're not going to get a Declan Rice if you're being 100% realistic because, like he's fucking 150 million or something stupid like that. Just a cheeky sip of water there. Please, guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more, make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football. The minute we sign a player, I'll be live. The minute we sell a player, I'll be live. If we put in a bid for de Jong, I'll be live because Romano said the next step is Barcelona waiting for United to make a bid. So the minute there's a bid, bish bash bosh, I'm live. If de Jong joins, I'm live. If we sell a player, I'm live. All the latest on Nunez, Timber, de Jong, potential players like Sangare and Cuckoo, Eriksen. Make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football. I go live every single evening, keeping you guys up to date on all the latest transfer news updates, and I also do short videos during the day. I will get into Nunez news in just a second. And if next season Saka doesn't leave Arsenal and we get CL and Arsenal get EL, I'd like Man U to buy Saka. I would happily buy Saka, and I'd love to see Arsenal not get Champions League again because that would be funny. Darwin Nunez news. Let's get in. I still got more de Jong news to get into, by the way, guys. But I'm just going to skip quickly to the Darwin Nunez news because I've got about 5 million gazillion pages of de Jong news. So, Demartio confirmed that Darwin Nunez will most likely go to the Premier League and that Darwin Nunez wants to go to the Premier League. Fabrizio Romano said that he's 100% confident Darwin Nunez will leave Benfica. Darwin Nunez's price has been quoted at between 50 to 100 million, but I think Romano said he would be around 70 million, which I still think is way too much. Now, Demartio, very reliable journalist, said Man United, Arsenal, and Tottenham are teams that, he could end up at, maybe even Newcastle, but he wants the Premier League. But Miguel Delaney, who isn't that reliable of a journalist, in my opinion, he's an okay journalist. He hits, he misses, not the most reliable, but he does get stuff right. He said that Nunez is understood to have favoured Liverpool up to now, but is prepared to listen to United as the club engages in a new era under Ten Hag. when I think about Darwin Nunez wanting Liverpool and not United, if you want my honest opinion, don't surprise me. I think that Benfica will just use Liverpool's name to try and hurry up Man United, drive up the price, see if they can get more, see if they can get United into hurrying up on this deal, because United seem to have taken the foot off the brake with the foot off the brake with Nunez and Timber while they focus on De Jong. And I just think, they're getting a bit impatient, Benfica, because to be fair, just no one's going to pay 100 million for Darwin Nunez. He's not worth that, apart from idiot teams like United. And I think that maybe they're just using Liverpool's name to scare Man United. Darwin Nunez is not a Liverpool player. Liverpool are not interested in Darwin Nunez, and I'm 100% confident of that. I'd be shocked if Darwin Nunez ended up at Liverpool. I don't see how he works in Klopp's system whatsoever. It also came out from CM Journal. Now take this with a big pinch of salt. Take this with a real big pinch of salt, because I don't believe it. Saying that Manchester United have made official proposal to Benfica for Darwin Nunez for 75 million euros up front, with 20 million euros in bonuses and a player worth 10 million to be included in the deal, including Andreas Pereira. So apparently they're saying we're going to basically give Benfica 105 million euros worth of shit to get Darwin Nunez, which is fucking ridiculous. He's not fucking worth that much. And again, I don't believe that story. I would say take it with a pinch of salt, because not the most reliable journalists are coming out as well. 70 million euros, not pounds, as well. And look, 70 million for an unproven 22-year-old, I agree. I wouldn't pay any more than 50 million for Darwin Nunez. He could be a young Cavani, but I'm still sceptical about him. 75 million plus bonuses is insanity, exactly, as well. And Frenkie de Jong is open to a move, but not Man United. He wants Champions League. He is more than open to a move to Man United. He's had discussions with Ten Hag, and if he really wasn't interested in coming to United, we wouldn't be pursuing him, because obviously I don't believe that, Frenkie de Jong probably wants Champions League, but we can just say we'll be there next year. It's a year without. I don't believe a lot of the nonsense going on. I really don't believe a lot of it, because we know Erik ten Hag has had so many phone calls with Frenkie de Jong. And if Frenkie de Jong had no interest in joining United, we wouldn't be pursuing him after 3-4 phone calls, after 3 weeks of pursuing him. Like, United is stupid, but we're just not that stupid as well, honestly. Rice is a better son than De Jong. Yes, because we need an out-and-out CDM, but no, because value for money, De Jong is better. But back to the De Jong news, as said. And do you think De Jong will end up like Di Maria? No, because De Jong's always been a good professional, and he's got a good relationship with Ten Hag. Di Maria, I don't think, had the best relationship with Van Gaal as well. People here guessing that United are working on 3 or 4 signings behind the scenes. I would like to believe that, but I do not think so. I'd like to believe we're working on 3 or 4 signings behind the scenes, and I believe the journalists that say we are, but you just don't know with United. But I think we are working on 3 or 4 signings behind the scenes, because reliable sources have confirmed talks of Nunez, Timber, even Pau Torres, and of course Frenkie de Jong. But going back into the Frenkie de Jong news, and then I will get into the Timber news. So Fabrizio Romano said today that Barcelona are now waiting an official offer from Manchester United for Frenkie de Jong, and that Fabrizio Romano also said that Manchester United know how difficult Barcelona's financial situation is, and that's why even if Frenkie de Jong is not fully convinced about joining United, they will try again. They hope Barcelona's situation will help them in this complicated ongoing mission. So one of the reasons, Romano is basically saying that, Barcelona are now waiting for United to put an official bid, and because of Barcelona's financial situation, United are convinced they can get De Jong to come, because he's going to have to leave Barcelona. What's come out in the recent days, De Jong's been told by Xavi he's got to leave. De Jong now wants to leave Barcelona because he knows he's unwanted, and at the same time, Barcelona put De Jong on the market. At the same time, De Jong is reportedly going to leave Barcelona. He's realised he's unwanted. It's been United are now very, very close, and Barcelona are now waiting a bid from Man United. So if Barcelona are waiting for a bid for United, surely, as Romano said, they've got some confidence that he could end up at Manchester United. Andy Mitten of the National News obviously said there has been initial contact between Man United and Barcelona about a possible transfer de Jong, but his coach Xavi wants it. Completely contradicts what the reliable Spanish journalist said. He said, however, there might be pressure to sanction a sale giving Barcelona's financial situation on de Jong. He also said that money will help Barcelona with their debts, and they can also reinvest since they have to remain compliant with the league rules. There are also conflicting messages within Barcelona, with some officials stating they haven't budgeted for any player sales. So again, that's another journalist basically saying with Barcelona, they're probably going to have to sell de Jong so they can sign players, in other words, as well. Guys, please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. And of course, put that post notification bell on. I will be live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more. So do make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Can we hit 400 likes by the end of the video? That would be awesome as well. his World Cup year. So if he doesn't, if De Jong don't play at Barcelona, the thing is as well, if Barcelona have actually said to De Jong, I don't want you, and why stay at Barcelona when it's World Cup year in case they just don't play you because they're annoyed you stayed? De Jong knows if he goes to United, he's a fucking week in, week out starter, even if he's shit, because there's McTominay and Fred as his competition. One thing Man United will be able to guarantee Frenkie de Jong is basically we can literally go up to Frenkie de Jong and say, mate, you will play week in, week out if you come to United. You will be the main man. Barcelona, you might be pushed out the team. I don't think you will, but because they wanted you gone. But if you come to United, Frenkie de Jong, you play week in, week out. You become that main man, and that's something United could potentially do with Frenkie de Jong as well. Alex Crook said that De Jong now accepts he's unlikely to have a future at Barcelona, and Man United are now concentrating all their efforts on getting the deal done for Frenkie de Jong. Obviously De Jong was told a few days ago that he's up for sale, that Xavi doesn't want him, that Barcelona don't want him. So why stay at Barcelona with the World Cup coming up? If you're not wanted, you might not play. Sport via the Barca universe also said that negotiations are progressing for Frenkie de Jong. And obviously he's being heavily approached by United. And the Daily Express again said that Barcelona are playing hardball, wanting 75 million for Frenkie de Jong, while United search for a 60 million compromise. Which I genuinely believe, because Barcelona have to sell De Jong, because Barcelona have to get a sale. Man United might be thinking, 75 million? Hold up, you need to sell him. You're desperate to sell him. Man City, PSG, or Bayern aren't negotiating for him. So 60 million, you need that 60 million. Stop messing us about. And that is something that United could do. It's a risky game. I think De Jong 60 million is a steal. I think he is worth 70 million. I'm not opposed to us playing 70 million, but United don't want to get too ahead of themselves as well. De Jong will join Man United, hopefully. Will we or Chelsea get Koundé? More likely Chelsea than us as well. Alice has a lovely voice and knows a lot of stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Randomizer. It means a lot. Maybe a loan with an option to pay. What for De Jong? Unlikely, unless we're talking about something else as well. And to be fair, both Frenkie de Jong and Rice, it's hard to compare them. They don't even do the same job. I know Erik ten Hag would even want Rice if we could get him. Look, I'd love Declan Rice at United, but his price tag is absolutely ridiculous. And coming 4th or 5th next season under ten Hag, be happy with ten Hag because he needs to make Man U good second season or third. I've always said this about Erik ten Hag. I'm not really going to judge him off his first season. As long as I can see a play style and direction and sort of see what ten Hag wants to do under his first season and see an improvement in maybe how the player's mentality, the player's attitude, but also, seeing a more attractive style of football, I'll be happy with that. I don't think his first season is about winning trophies or getting top 4. Klopp didn't get top 4 in his first season. I think his first season is just about establishing his squad and finding out who the bad eggs are, finding out who the good eggs are, and really getting through the squad. I think is what ten Hag should be doing in the first season, as I've always said. Obviously, we know that Frenkie de Jong is on the market, guys, and obviously, Barcelona are waiting for United to put an official bid in, but it's been reported that Frenkie de Jong now wants to leave Barcelona as well. Sport, the contracts between Barcelona and United have begun in May, but it's recently got more intense as well. Obviously, Barca, again, telling United the midfield is available, and Ten Hag has already launched a bid for Frenkie de Jong, and Barcelona would be willing to sell for 70 million, says Mullet of the Mirror as well. And it also came out that talks between de Jong and United are advancing. But I'm fed up of basically seeing journalists saying talks are progressing, talks are advancing. All these journalists are kind of repeating themselves on the Frenkie de Jong situation, saying talks are advancing, talks are progressing, bish bash bosh. We know that. I don't want to hear another thing saying talks are progressing. We know United are in talks with de Jong. I don't want to hear any more updates about de Jong unless it's Man United have put in a bid, Barcelona have accepted a bid, Frenkie de Jong personal terms, here we go, or done deal. I don't want to hear talks are progressing. We know talks are accelerating. We know talks are advancing. We know talks are progressing. That's what we know, and that's all I want to know about Frenkie de Jong to United. I'm fed up of journalists just regurgitating words as well. I want a fresh squad so bad, I agree. But does Frenkie want to potentially miss 2 years of Champions League football, this squad? I think we will get Champions League next season. If we buy 2 midfielders, I think we'll get Champions League next season. I think we're 2 midfielders away from top 4. I think the only reason we didn't get top 4 is because that midfield isn't good enough as well. Either way, de Jong is a better talent than Declan Rice. Can't see any top abroad European clubs going for Rice. Better defensively, but that's about it. I guess in terms of technical ability, absolutely. They're different kind of positions, but yeah. But Rice is not worth 100 million as well. Man United need to change the culture 100%, and it's reported the first thing Erik ten Hag wants to do when he gets to Manchester United is change the dressing room vibe, change the dressing room culture. Erik ten Hag's come to realisation that one of the biggest problems at Man United this season has been the dressing room personnel and culture, and that Erik ten Hag's main goal when it comes to United is to really change the culture of the dressing room. He wants to establish where the problems are coming from. You know, United are desperate to get rid of Bailly, Wan-Bissaka, a lot of other players. You know, any player that doesn't want to be at United, any player that's been doing leaks, any players that have been causing trouble, Ten Hag is desperate to get rid of. 6 have already gone. Wan-Bissaka, Bailly also seem destined to go. Tuanzebe seems desperate to go. Dean Henderson seems destined to go. So does Brandon Williams. So that's 11 players potentially leaving, with Tellers and Jones' future unsure. Martial's future also unsure as well. And the Ten Hag's priority is he knows where the problems are in the dressing room. He's had a big phone call with Rangnick, and it is just getting those problem makers out the dressing room. Wan-Bissaka, Dean Henderson, Eric Bailly, they've been causing problems. You've got to get them out of the dressing room. We know that Ten Hag literally wants all his business done. Let me just take a sip of water. My voice is going. What I was saying is we know that Ten Hag basically wants all his business done by July, by a pre-season tour. So Ten Hag will want 5-6 players gone by July. Ten Hag will want at least 3 or 4 signings in to take with him on pre-season. And, you know, hopefully United do that. You know, we are working on multiple deals at once. We're not doing this boring shit where you do one deal at a time, one deal at a time. We are working on multiple deals at once. So hopefully it is bish bash bosh, okay? De Jong in, oh my God, a week after De Jong, Timber's in. A week after Timber's in, we signed a Sangare, someone we were only linked to a week ago. We are keeping things secret. A week after that, we get Amalasaya. And then the last week of the transfer window, because we can't get them all, maybe before July, you know, after you sell all the players and you've got a bit more budget, you get a Nunez, you get some Buka, Skamaka, sorry. You get your striker. You know, that's what I want to see Man United do. And we know that Ten Hag wants business done early, and we know that he wants 4 or 5 more players out of the dressing room before pre-season, because he wants to completely reinvent the dressing room mentality and morale. He needs the people that are going to cause a negative morale, not listen to instructions, don't want to be there, and that cause problems, that leak stuff. He wants them out, and he wants fresh players in with the right attitude as well. He needs to fix the leaks and the leaking roof, you could say, as well. You know what's really funny is when Man United, there was a story saying United got a leak investigator in. I generally thought they were talking about the leaks that came out, not the leaks in the roof as well. And any Skamaka is close to joining Arsenal. Is he actually? Because I swear they were going to get Jesus. Like, what? Honestly, I want Arsenal to get Nunez and us to get Skamaka, because I think the Skamaka is better than Nunez as well, honestly. And Ten Hag looking for a house as well. Ten Hag is house hunting. He's not going to be doing a Jose Mourinho kind of thing as well. Let's hope Erik ten Hag hope and trust. Let's give Erik ten hope and trust. Don't know what you mean by that, but we're going to stick with that. I read Skamaka even wants to go to either Milan club. But the thing about Italian players is they often stay in Italy. I often find that they stay in Italy. I think that, you know, I am actually going to do a keep, buy, sell 3-year Erik ten Hag plan. But before we get into that, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe down below. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, it'd be really appreciated if you could subscribe to the channel. I go live every single evening on Alice Talks Football, trying to keep you guys up to date with all the latest Man United news and transfer news. There's a transfer show every single evening live on my channel. So let's say I don't read your live chat in today's video, just subscribe with post notification on, and I'll read your live chat in tomorrow's video, because I don't have time to read all my live chats. Just thought I'd throw that out there as well. And of course, subscribe, because if there are any breaking news updates like bid, deal agreed, and all of that, I will be live as well. But what I want to do is I actually want to go through all the Manchester United players and give them a sort of a 3-year plan, essentially. So what we're going to do is, and I want to do this with you guys as well. I think Skamaka is better than Nunez, but you know, it's an unpopular opinion. But I've watched them. I've only watched them play a few times as well, so I'm not saying that I have the best ball knowledge in the world. It's just from what I've seen of them. So this is the 3-year plan. Fuck off, United. I'm not subscribing. So this is the 3-year plan. We're going to go through every Man United player, and we're going to give them a 3-year plan. That's what we're going to do, and I want you guys to join in as well. Will De Jong surely join United? I believe he will, but I think it's, for me, I'm 80% that he will, but I think there's that 20% that he doesn't. So the goalies are De Gea, Tom Heaton, and Dean Henderson at Manchester United. Now, for the first year, keep De Gea, keep Heaton, sell Henderson. Henderson wants to go. He's causing problems in the dressing room. You sell Henderson. Who's your replace Dean Henderson with? Carl Darlow, bish, bash, bosh, do it. But in 3 years' time, okay, we're looking at the 1-year plan and we're looking at the 3-year plan. De Gea's got to go in 3 years. Okay, I love De Gea. He is a good keeper. He's one of the best keepers of all time, but he's slowly being outdated. Unless he can prove to adapt himself to Ten Hag's style of play, which I think will be very, very difficult, I just think that he will probably be gone. I think we need to be looking at the AC Milan keeper, who I always forget how to pronounce his name. I think maybe Sanchez from Brighton. There's 3 Spanish keepers that start ahead of David De Gea because they're more modern. That they command their box more. They've got better distribution. I think in 3 years, you've got to get a goalkeeper in the next 3 years. But I think in the next season, you keep De Gea, you sell Henderson, you bring in Darlow. For 3 years' time, you replace all 3 of these. Into the defenders, what do you do with the Man United defence as well? Manigan, that's the one I wanted. Magnan, however you say his name as well. Donnarumma, I'd actually prefer Magnan to Donnarumma as well. But yeah, for the defence. Keep Lindelof for now, but maybe in 3 years you sell him, or he's just a bench player forever. Bailly go, Phil Jones go. Maguire, I keep Maguire for 1 season because we need to get rid of Bailly, Jones, and Tuanzebe first. And we're not going to be able to bring in 2 centre-backs. Realistically, it's not FIFA. We need to we'll only bring in 1 centre-back. And with Varane getting injured, with Lindelof getting injured, you don't know what Timber will be like. You need to keep Maguire because at the end of the day, he's not always injured. So Lindelof I'd keep, Bailly and Jones I would sell. Maguire I'd keep for a year, but then sell afterwards. Maguire's not in the 3-year plan. Bailly and Jones will be sold anyway. And Lindelof is in the 3-year plan as a bench player, but I'd maybe even be looking to sell Lindelof after 3 years. Varane can stay, Dalot can stay, but Dalot can stay 1 more season. And if he doesn't prove himself, you get a right back him. It's Dalot, you've got a season to prove yourself under Ten Hag. If you don't show potential, you're out. Luke Shaw can stay. Again, for me, I do rate Luke Shaw. He's in my 3-year plan, but again, if he doesn't show potential, if he doesn't find form again, then he's out maybe next season. But you keep Luke Shaw for another year. Alex Tellers, I'd sell. He's not good enough. Wan-Bissaka, I'd sell. He's causing issues. Brandon Williams, I'd sell or loan. I'm not that bothered. Tuanzebe, I'd sell. He just can't get into anyone's lineup at the moment. Ted Mengi, I'd keep. And Alvaro Fernandez, I'd actually keep, and I'd actually promote Alvaro Fernandez to the first team because he's a good left back. He actually was our best under 23s player. That's personally what I do with Alvaro Fernandez. Of course, let me know what you do in the chat below as well. Phil Jones will probably survive. The reason Phil Jones is staying at Man United is because he's here for the wages. He's not going to get anywhere near that level of wages anywhere else, which is kind of disgusting, but that is why Phil Jones will stay at United. Maguire should be look, I'd sell Maguire in a season, but I'd keep him for 1 more season because we generally need him for what's the word, depth. Manigan isn't leaving Milan anytime soon, but he's a shot stopper. He's more of a shot stopper than distribution type. I agree, but I just do quite like him though. I feel like he can definitely boost us. I think everyone will keep Varane as well. Going into the Manchester United midfield, Pogba's gone, Mata's gone, Lingard's gone, Pereira needs to go. Worst comes to worst, you keep him for a season, let him run down his contract, but he needs to go. Ahmad, keep involve him in the plans, bring him through, give him game time. Fred, he can stay and eventually become a bench player. Bruno can stay, but he's got to prove himself. I still believe he's a good player in Bruno. I'm happy with Bruno staying and being part of the long-term plan, but he's got to adapt his game, prove himself, and not do the silly hero balls. Palestri can stay, but I've actually given him a loan. And Matic is gone. Donny can stay. Garner can stay, but he might be beneficial from a loan. McTominay can stay for 1 season, then he's gone. McTominay's got 1 season, then he's gone. He's not good enough. He's 26 nearly. You keep him for a season because we've got no depth in the midfield, and the next season you get a Rice in and you sell a McTominay unless he has a good season. Hannibal can stay. Ronaldo can stay, but he won't be in the 3-year plan because he'll be too old. Martial, I think he will be sold. I have no issue if we keep Martial, but if he doesn't want to be here, which seems to be the case, you sell Martial. Rashford's got a year to prove himself. If we're sitting here this time next year and Rashford has been crap and Rashford has not improved and Rashford has just been as dreadful as ever again, then you sell Rashford. But he's got a year to prove himself. Greenwood, don't particularly want him back. So, I mean, look, I won't lie. He is the striker that we need right now when he was very good as a striker. But after what he's allegedly done, I don't think we can morally take him back. I don't think it would be right. However, he could be found not guilty. But I just think it would be, even if he is found not guilty, because everything was leaked to the public, it will be a difficult situation. Edison Cavani, gone. Sancho, he can stay. He's in a 3-year plan. He's actually he's one of the only players that I'm really confident will be in Erik Ten Hag's long-term plans. There's players that Erik ten Hag has probably put keep or sell for this season, but there's probably players Erik ten Hag plans to sell in a few seasons. Like I think De Gea and Ronaldo won't be here in 2 years' time, but they will be here next season because they've been our best players this season. Whereas Jadon and Sancho, I think he will be here for the foreseeable future. Elanga can stay. I think Chong is time to go. I know he was all right in his spell in Birmingham, but obviously got that injury. Shola Sutiri can stay and Garnacho can stay, and I'd like to see him come through. I've just missed the super chat, so let me read up. Hello, Alice. What's your thoughts on England, United States, Iran, and now Wales? I think that's a really good group because, England versus United States is a bit of a competitive derby. England versus Wales is a bit of a derby. And I guess the US versus Iran is a bit of a political derby as well. So I think that's a really good group. I think we'll win it, but I think it's not as easy as some England fans think. I think don't underestimate Iran, Wales, or United States. But it's a good group. It's not a difficult group, but it's not the easiest. I will say that as well. Ronaldo is the biggest keep must keep Ronaldo. For me, we need to keep Ronaldo, and I think for me, it's keep Ronaldo for a season and give him captaincy. I saw someone put this in Twitter today. Why don't you just give Ronaldo captaincy because he's only going to be here another year? Because I don't think Ten Hag can choose his long-term captain for the next 5 years. When one, they might not be at the club, or two, he doesn't know the players. So I've always said, we need to keep Ronaldo. We need to give Ronaldo captaincy because then next year, if Timber impresses, if De Jong impresses, then you can go and give them captaincy as well. That's how I feel as well. Bruno will stay. Bruno will stay, but he does need to prove himself, doesn't he? He's I wouldn't say he needs to prove himself. Like we all know Bruno's a good player, but with the way Bruno's been playing lately, he's not been playing his best as well. Sancho and Elanga definitely part of the plans. I don't get the Elanga hate. He's not the best player in the world. He's not the most fancy player in the world, but he does a job. And I think Elanga will be a player that someone like Ten Hag will probably really like and rate highly. Guys, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. I go live every single evening on the channel. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football. I will be live tomorrow night with more updates on De Jong, Timber, and more. So if you do want to stay up to date on the Timber news, if you do want to stay up to date on the Frenkie de Jong news, if you want to stay up to date on the Nunez news, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If we agree a deal with De Jong, I'll be live. Bish bash bosh like that. If something happens with Eriksen, again, I'll be live. If some updates happen with Timber, I'll be live. For any big major transfer news updates, do make sure you're subscribed because literally I think Frenkie de Jong is days away. I'm very confident we'll get a De Jong deal done. I think we could put in a bid in the next few days. Frenkie de Jong has got to leave Barcelona. I think something massive could happen between De Jong and United in the next few days. So do make sure you subscribe because if personal terms are agreed, if a bid is made, if there's a big update in De Jong, I will be live to let you know. I will be live every single evening throughout the transfer window, keeping you up to date on all the news. But there's Eriksen stuff, there's Nunez stuff, there's De Jong stuff, there's Timber stuff. There's lots to keep an eye on. And although it's a bit repetitive, although it kind of feels like, United doing anything, I'm fed up with this story this day and this story the next day. I think here we go very, very soon. I think a lot of people are obviously fed up and stuff with, certain repetitive news. And it's been 4 weeks of, we're interested in De Jong, Timber and Nunez, but we've not brought anyone. And I can understand that it's frustrating. It's 4 weeks of the same players we've been linked to and not brought anyone. But that is because Man United are very soon going to buy someone. And I think, it's not going to be we buy someone, then we wait a month and we buy someone else. I think it's going to be buy someone, we wait a week, we buy someone else, we wait a week, we buy someone else. I generally think in the next month we'll have 3 players at this club. I generally think before the pre-season tour in the first week of July, we would have signed 3 players. I think in the next month, Man United will sign 3 players. And I'm being deludedly confident. But I actually believe that they want to change. Woodward's gone, Judge has gone, Ten Hag's in. And if they don't, it's a disgrace to Ten Hag because he's a new manager. It's his first ever transfer and you've embarrassed him. If we don't get Timber, it's an embarrassment on the club. It's an absolute embarrassment on the club if we don't get Timber as well. We're 99 likes away from 400 likes, guys. So please do smash that like button if you have not already. And as I said, do subscribe if you're new as well. I want to get into the Timber news. So what we do know about Darwin Timber is he does want to join United. There was a verbal agreement with Timber to United. He does want to join, but he obviously wants to make sure he wants to play. Timber's gone away to, the Netherlands. Maybe Van Gaal's put some words in his ear saying, look, if you go to United and you don't play first team football, you're not in the World Cup squad. Timber's got a bit of doubt in. Timber and his agent are leaking some news to the media, to the press, basically feeding them stuff. It's a negotiating tactic, probably saying, look, Timber, he's concerned that he might not play because of the World Cup. He doesn't want to come if he's not going to play. He's having second thoughts. United just need to go and reassure Timber he will play. Timber will play because he's Erik ten Hag's first choice centre-back. Ten Hag's not going to sign a player he doesn't plan to play. Now, he might not play week in, week out, but he will play, and he will play enough, I believe, to be involved in the Dutch World Cup squad. If you play week in, week out for United, you've got more chance of being in the Dutch World Cup squad than if you play week in, week out for Ajax. You know, the best league in the world. Ten Hag's a manager that loves Timber. Ten Hag's a manager that plans to use Timber. And then one of the reasons Timber's Ten Hag's first choice defender is because Timber knows how to play a way that a lot of the other players at United don't. Timber knows how to sort of play the way that Ten Hag will want him to play. And that's one of the reasons that Timber is, you know, is why Ten Hag wants him. So I think Timber will play. And actually, the only issue going on right now, I believe, in the Timber deal is United negotiating a price with Ajax because they don't want to pay up. And, you know, if United don't pay up and they bottle Ten Hag's first signing because of a negotiation tactic, it's a joke. This is Ten Hag's first transfer window, and Timber wants to come. We know Timber wants to come. And if we bottle the Timber deal, it is us bottling it because we can't negotiate. We can't prove to him we're going to play him. We can't sell him. You know, it's all about how we negotiate this deal now. We need to agree with Ajax on a fee, but we also need to guarantee Timber he's going to play week in, week out. And that's the only reason he's having doubts. And maybe because we're working on the De Jong news, we'll talk to Timber in a few days and all of that. But if we don't get Timber, it is on the board. And they've, you know, in Ten Hag's first transfer window, they've not got one of the key signings he wants. So United better go and get Timber as well. Timber will not warm the bench for United. He's got to compete with Maguire. Like, I think he will get game time. He can also play right back as well. Frenkie will be in the UK this week for Wales, Netherlands, which is a bonus because then he can go straight from Wales to Manchester and come join us and meet Ten Hag. I'm joking. The thing is, I do want Frenkie de Jong done now-ish because he will then go on holiday after the international break and he's not going to be wanting sorting shit on holiday. Alice, Frenkie de Jong's going to take longer. We need to sort out another position or two. In the meantime, like centre-back and possibly a young fullback. I agree. I just think because de Jong is the big signing, because de Jong is the statement signing, that's why United are focusing solely on de Jong. I think Man United are putting all the effort in on Frenkie de Jong because he will be that statement signing, because he will be that signing we build a team around. And I think that is why we're putting so much effort into him. And it's like we don't want to get another midfielder to get de Jong. But I do agree, if de Jong is going to take time, which it shouldn't really, because Barcelona will have to sell and make money before before June 30th. So they have to sell him within the next 3 weeks. They've got just over 3 weeks to sell de Jong. It will happen in the next 3 weeks. But I don't want to be sitting here in 3 weeks with us not signing anyone and then we get de Jong. If we're not going to be able to get de Jong for another couple of weeks, then yeah, let's get that Timber deal wrapped up. Let's reassure Timber. Let's look at Tyrone Militia. Let's look at the fullbacks. But I 100% agree. United are working heavily on the Frenkie de Jong deal. United do want Frenkie de Jong, but if it's going to take more time than we think, let's work on other deals. But they're putting all their effort in Frenkie de Jong. And I do think that the Frenkie de Jong deal is something that could be done and pretty much wrapped up very, very soon. As I've always said, guys, if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe down below if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more. Because I will be live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news as well. The minute we sign a player, I'm live. The minute we sell a player, I'm live. If we put in a bid, if we agree personal terms, if any big stories happen, I will be live to let you guys know. So do make sure you subscribe. If Fabrizio Romano says anything exciting, if we get any updates on Eriksen, I will be live. One of the last stories I want to get into is Ten Hag's new midfielder. And I say new midfielder, Donny van de Beek. United have received offers on loan and to buy Donny van de Beek, but Ten Hag's made it clear Donny van de Beek is part of his plans. Donny van de Beek can be a good player at Manchester United, and Ten Hag wants Donny van de Beek next season, and Donny van de Beek is in Ten Hag's plans next season, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I think Donny van de Beek will be like a new midfielder. The only thing I'm worried about with United is them basically saying, well, Donny's come back, you've basically got two midfield signings. We need Frenkie de Jong, and we need another midfielder to partner Frenkie de Jong in the pivot. We do. And I do not want United going, well, Donny's come back, Garner's come back. It's basically like a new signing. We're not going to get you two midfielders. No, Ten Hag's priority is midfield. Ten Hag wants two midfielders. We know that because Rory Whitwell, who are tier one sources, also said that. He wants two midfielders. So don't go, yeah, Frenkie de Jong's like a new signing, James Garner's like a new signing. Frenkie de Jong, Donny van de Beek's like a new signing. You get Frenkie de Jong, you get a midfielder, and you've got Donny and Garner coming back. And that is the midfield improved. You then work on the defence. You then work on the fullbacks and all of that. But Donny is set to be playing very regularly next season. And Donny is very heavily in Ten Hag's plan. So hashtag free Donny, or Donny is finally free as well. Brighton left back Cucurella, also good. I do agree. Cucurella, Malacia. I think for me, de Jong, partner. For me, this window, let's get a striker. Let's get de Jong. Let's get a CDM that can partner de Jong. Let's get Timber, and let's get a fullback. You know, there's a lot, you know, there's players I want, there's players I don't want, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that United only go for players that Ten Hag wants. We need to make sure all our signings are players Ten Hag wants. We're not signing a player because the club like Pau Torres. We'll sign Pau Torres because actually, let's say Ten Hag wants Pau Torres, not because the club wants him and all that. And hopefully that is what United do. I do not want us signing players for the sake of it, or signing players to, you know, we can't get you the player you want, Ten Hag, but we'll get you this player. It's sort of similar. You buy the players Ten Hag wants. But guys, I am going to wrap up today's live stream. Thank you everybody for tuning into today's live stream. It's been a really, really good show. I am going to end it now because I am losing my voice a little bit. I've had a very busy weekend. But what I will say is if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest news, make sure you subscribe. I go live every single evening on the channel. So if I didn't read out or answer any of your live chats, I do apologise, but I will probably try and read them out in tomorrow's live stream. I should be back at 7 tomorrow. So make sure you keep that post notification bell on tomorrow so you do know when I'm live. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash a like on the video. If I hear any big updates on Frenkie de Jong, there will be a video to let you guys know. So if you want to know all the latest on De Jong to Manchester United, do subscribe with the notification bell on, because if we get any major updates, there'll be a video. If there's personal terms agreed, if a bid's made, if a deal is done, there'll be a video. Same with other transfers. Any big news, there'll be a video right away, and transfer streams every single evening. So thank you everybody for tuning into today's video. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. I miss Alice Watch Lungs. Look, I'm not going to say I miss watching United, but I am excited to watch United next season under Ten Hag as well. And since the first place available because Erik ten Hag, I don't know what you mean by that, but hopefully his first signing will be coming in as well. And by Alice, don't lose your voice. It's slowly going as well. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.